I thought I'd do a bit of a revisit today on a shoe that I haven't worn for 4 months actually, and that is the Adidas Terrex Agravic Speed Ultra here. And yeah, main reason why this has not really been in my rotation is, well, because I haven't actually been doing a lot of trail running. But yeah, I think I've done around 100 kilometers in this now, and 2 races actually, and really do think that this is a very unique and very fun shoe to use, but it does have its limitations. So yeah, on the plan for today is pretty simple, just 60 minutes easy, and I'm really just plodding around. Do have kind of tired legs today, but also want to get in 4 by 20 second strides just for a bit of turnover and a bit of leg speed really. So you do immediately notice running in this that heel lockdown kind of sucks on this. You know, it's just this section back here. This is just not enough structure for a trail shoe, and there is basically no reinforcement at all. Just always feel like you don't quite get this security there, and you always feel like you get this tiny bit of movement there. And yeah, just notice that with these laces, even if you tie them up super tight, you still end up getting a bit of looseness back here in the heel collar. And you know, just sort of moving your ankle around like this, you just never really feel totally secure in this shoe. Just going on uneven terrain like this grass we have here is a bit disconcerting in a way, as you just don't get this kind of locked in feeling that you'd like. But yeah, just in terms of the midsole here, I think Adidas did pretty much all they could to stabilize this thing. You can see that it is pretty wide just in the base here, and especially in the forefoot you have quite a lot of surface area. Obviously this is for Lightstrike Pro, and just notice, I mean, I've been using quite a few Lightstrike Pro shoes recently, and yeah, this stuff is just so wonderfully bouncy and absolutely great in this very high stack here. Wow, so much bounce to this, and you can already see the compression just in the forefoot. It really is very trampoline-like, and just these kind of very buffed out trails here, it really does feel very unique. The bounce in this is just fantastic, and just nothing you can really compare to any other trail shoe that I've tried personally. Yeah, just the shape of this is pretty unusual for a trail shoe. I mean, if you look at the rocker profile, it really has a very continuous curve and it's never really flat. So you do end up getting quite a long and smooth kind of transition. Yeah, basically the whole midsole here is just a continuous curve, and maybe that's not the best in terms of stability, but just in terms of fun factor, this is pretty amazing. And yeah, despite the energy rods in this, which you do actually see poking out through this hole here, this is not a very stiff shoe. So yeah, one aspect I'm not like super over the moon about is the weight on this. It's around 225 grams in my size 40, which is, well, I think for a racing shoe, even if it's a trail racing shoe, a bit much really. That's more sort of standard daily trainer weight. Yeah, I think if Adidas makes a V2 of this shoe, and I think they really should, then basically just give it a new upper and maybe find some way to shave off a few grams. So yeah, another thing I'm not super keen on this one is the outsole, and I'm not talking about the Continental rubber, because that stuff feels very tacky, but yeah, it's more these lugs here. And I mean, obviously these are not super deep. These are 2.5 and 3.5 millimeter lugs, and if they made them deeper, then that would add a bit of weight, of course. But I just find that the shape of these is just a bit too round and not quite aggressive enough, so you do end up with this kind of feeling like you don't get this bite into the terrain, and they just don't have this kind of aggressive profile you'd want from a real technical trail shoe. Well, obviously the big advantage of a soft foam high stack and not very aggressive outsole is that this is a trail shoe that can be run on road sections as well. It's not really a massively different experience to a lot of road shoes. Yeah, I think this is the kind of shoe that you end up using on race courses that where road shoe is just not quite gonna cut it. I think just in terms of use case, this is, well, I think a bit niche. Alright, so yeah, that's the actual running part done. And let me just quickly get these strides in. And yeah, I think this shoe is a whole lot of fun, and if you see yourself racing a lot in non-technical trails, then I think this is totally worth it. As I said, it is kind of a niche offering and doesn't really feel like it can tackle the more technical stuff. But yeah, still very glad I picked this one up, and quite a useful addition to your rotation on some days, I guess. And yeah, are you interested in this shoe as well, then please do leave me a comment, and until then, like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.